back to the Pulver report. It's 9:30. Opening bell for a pretty wild week in the stock market. It's March 17th. Let's go ahead and get started for today's Pulver report. We understand there's risk in trading. Please and always use trade capital only. Do not trade with money you can afford to lose, whether trading stocks, options, futures, forex, cryptos, or even have money in the bank. Just kidding. Little SVB joke there. Anyway, you know the risks. If you're following me on social media, make sure it's real me, Mondays and Fridays, youtube.com/Chris Pulver. Trying to keep the handles really consistent. Facebook.com/RealChrisPulver. Instagram, Twitter @RealChrisPulver. Yeah, no scammers, right? All right, charts, pretty wild week. Looking at Coinbase, we're trading at 71.10. Had some chart alarms going off on Bitcoin this morning. Bitcoin made a nice little run off the 20K to the yearly pivot. Hooray! How many traders got a piece of Bitcoin at 20K with me? And now we're sitting at 26.6. It's a pretty good return for a trade. I like that. I might peel off a few bucks. It's 34% right there. And there might be some upside towards 30K. This happened fast and furious. I'm not sure if this was just a great technical level to buy or if this was a bit of a run speculation-wise, just because everything's happening with the banks. If we go to regional bank, there's a regional banking ETF, and this thing is getting absolutely crushed. The big news yesterday was First Republic Bank, which was down, I don't even know how many percent. And it happened a lot during a trading day. It was halted, then it was post-market, pre-market. But anyway, this little drop in the last month is around 35% on the regional banking ETF. First Republic, right here, FRC, sitting at 28. So that's dangerous right there, right? Let's see here. 85% down just this year alone. We're pretty much sitting, from the 2021 high, it's down 93%. Yikes. And that's with a bailout. Essentially, we had a group of banks to the tune of $30 billion come in and say, hey, we'll help keep First Republic solvent. I think, the banking sector is trying to prevent contagion. But anyway, lots of drama. But that being said, tech rallied. So here is the SPX. We're trading at 39.49. The SPY down about 0.72 with a slight gap lower. The Qs open right where we closed yesterday with a big push. I mean, let's go to the last 1, 2, 3. I mean, this is a pretty wild week, right? Thursday last week, Friday last week, opened up on Monday. And this week, the Qs alone, I think we have double digits. Are we double digits? Maybe it's like 7% from the low from Monday with the gap. 7, almost 8% for the week on the Qs. Pretty impressive. But that gets us right back to where we started. If you were with me on Monday, I said I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here and we had these lows if somehow we finished the week somewhere in the middle. Right? So we had a high, we tested that on Monday, we come back in, we've been trading inside this range, and we still have what next week? What's Wednesday next week? FOMC, the FOMC. So let me go to the CME watch group, or watch the Fed watch tool. Anything else on the Fed? Forex factory calendar, this should be next week. We have 3 rate decisions next week. The ECB raised rates 50 basis points yesterday. Prelim for the UMM consumer sentiments today at 10. All low impact news. Let's go next week. Wednesday. So next week we have CAD CPI. Wednesday at 2 p.m. So here's the expectation. Fed is still forecasted for a 25 basis points hike. Big deal is going to be the press conference. Looking like the Swiss National Bank is going to raise rates by 0.5%. Monetary Policy Committee raising rates by 0.25%. So rate hike, rate hike, rate hike. ECB raised rates, like I said, 50 basis points this week to put them at 3.5%. So there's still some tightening out there, despite the message that governments and central banks are willing to assist any other type of issues and liquidity issues in the banking sector right now. And then PMI numbers coming out of the Eurozone on Friday. So next week will be a big one. We'll see where things settle today. Apple trading at 155. We've got the 160, 160, 250, and 165 for some profit this week. DG is Dollar General. I've got a 240 by 250 bear call spread for profit. Meta, I ended up rolling. We're trading at 199 ahead of 202. I rolled that out by a couple of weeks. And Microsoft has been on a tear. It's actually up. I rolled this out to 331. Buy myself a little bit more time and be able to fill in the blanks and take a couple more trades. We're trading at 279 right now. So, I mean, that's a pretty fierce run on Microsoft. We'll see what happens, but there's some gaps and there's some demand where if we end up stalling a little bit and maybe we just pull back into this gap here. There's a pretty noticeable gap right there on Microsoft. We might come back and find that and then see some retreat a little bit because that is a big run. I think this one is definitely double digits for the week. From low to current price, it's up 13.5% for the week. So pretty crazy stuff. Let me get logged into YouTube. Say hi to everybody. Hope all you doing well for a Friday. Let's go here. All right. Morning, David. Morning, Donna. Ruth Ann, good morning. Ann, good morning. Gary, Jan, Jacob, Catherine, Don, what's happening? Ranji, good morning. All right. Nice to see everybody. Let's have a look. Currency strength chart this morning. A lot of volatility this week. We saw some big jumps on the vertical axis out of various baskets, but the JPY, strong to weak yesterday. Today, strong to strong. New Zealand and Aussie, pretty strong. CAD softer. Let's take a look. Oil's been a big story this week as well. Oil's trading at 67.42. I did some rolls on Exxon trading at 101. I rolled this one out to 331. I'm taking full profit this week on a 106 by 108 bear call spread. So that's good. That makes up for a 108 by 106 I took a loss on. So I'm going to make about 30 cents net profit. And then I will see where I can get the expirations for the end of the month. Hopefully we can get a nice little nudge back here to 104, 105. That should allow me to take some profit there. Let's see what else. BJ is a wholesale club. We got a bear call spread, bull put spread in the middle. That'll be full profit. I'm trying to think what other ones I had. I think that's it. We had some trades on the SPY and the Qs. I think we're in pretty good shape on all of these. As long as the SPY remains below 400, we should be good by the end of the month. But we're going to keep a close eye on things. Morning, Jan. Thank you very much. Yep, that was a big test yesterday. Bill, good morning. How are you? Okay, let's take a rundown of everything. I still have a bunch of expirations to run through today. If I go to 317. Okay. So this is going to be the rest of my day is just spot checking everything. So Apple's looking pretty good for full profit. Airbnb, that's for protection. I still have a March. This one is going to be full profit. Should be good on Airbnb to take some full profit there, so that's fine. BJ, that's going to be full profit. So those are wins. Apple's wins. Airbnb's wins. What else? CCL 9 by 750. That's Carnival Cruise Lines. I think we closed that for. Did we close that? Oops. Nope. Don't do that. CCL 9 by 750. This should be in profit. If we have that expiration, we can close that one for profit today. The 9 by 750, I don't want the assignment. We collected 80 cents. We should probably be able to get maybe, I would say 50 to 60 cents for that trade. What's up, dude? Give me a second. My dog is antsy to get up on my lap. All right, bro. Come on. Lay down. Okay. CCL's Carnival Cruise Lines. We'll look to close at one for profit. CLF. So materials took a pretty big dump this week. Alcoa down quite a bit, 39.95. Still being patient on these, but not as exciting as I thought. I think the reality is, we have a softer expectation for the Fed. If I go to that CME watch tool, we are expecting a rate hike next week. It's a pretty good probability that we're going to see it, 25 basis points. May looks like we're going to see no rate hike. 50% for no rate hike, 41% for a 25 basis points cut. So the market has really shifted the expectation for the Fed this week. Now, we will certainly know more with Powell's speech, with the press conference. I don't know how Powell can come in and deliver a dovish message. I mean, 6% inflation is not a victory lap for the Fed. I mean, I get that we have some liquidity things going on in the banking sector, and that's causing some concerns. Um, but I don't think the Fed can say like we've done everything we can do, inflation's under control, everything's great. I don't think that's happening. So again, it's going to be a wild ride. I'm sure this is subject to change again next week, depending on what the press conference leads us to on Wednesday. We will run a live session, by the way, if you want to join me on the YouTube channel, 2 p.m. We'll be live for FOMC next week. Okay. So anyway, material stocks. I mean, I'm still interested in owning, but it's somewhere down here. If I'm taking ownership in the low teens, lower my cost basis, I'm still good to sit on all this support right here, and eventually get this one back up into bigger levels. But being patient right now. This could be a crown pattern too. We may not come back and hit the lows. This is a high. This is a high. This could still be a setup here. But I think that the inflation play is not what it once was. It was super great in 2021. And it was pretty decent in Q1, Q4 of 2022, even Q1 of this year. But I don't know. It's like the market's not really running with value. Tech got beat up so badly that that's the short-term opportunity right now. So tech seems to be the play. So I'm taking some losses on some of these material plays, so just credit spreads, and we'll take them in stride. What else? 17 by 16. That one should be, we're trading at 17.67. I think we're low enough volatility today. This one should be fine. I'm going to set a chart alarm at 17 because that should be a full profit credit spread by this week. $17 right there. So if I have to step in and manage it and close it early, I will, but it should be full profit. See here, Coinbase. I have a 70. Coinbase is trading at $70. 69.81. I have a 75 by 78 for full profit this week. I think that's going to be pretty safe, but a chart alarm is set at 75. I could also roll that one by a week or two if needed, but I think I'm going to be okay for this week. Expiration today. So anyway, this is what I'm doing today for class, and also had a couple of assignments I need to review and take care of. But we'll do that at the top of the hour at Equities on Demand. But a lot of expirations between a few accounts, all good. And we did take some new trades this week. We started to get some exposure on Affirm, which is trading at 976. We did some, what did we do? 12 by 11s? Let me check. AFRM. We did the 1250 by 10s, June, August, September, and January next year. So I like it. This could certainly push a little bit lower and be in the single digits. But this has a really good technical setup, as do a lot of these trades. I did a couple of scans this week looking for some cash flow profitable tech. Well, maybe not profitable per se, but at least has some cash flow limited debt. So there's a good cash runway to stay afloat, and a customer base that's still supporting revenues. Affirm, this is a popular thing. I mean, consumers are going to buy stuff. Consumers that can buy now, pay later, that's a huge thing. Pretty much everywhere you're shopping online, you can see that option now. And Affirm is one of those type of platforms for that. We also looked at the proxy ARK, which is at 38.72. We started getting some trades in on ARK this week as well. The 37 by 36s, the 40 by 39s, we staggered those out. So we're going to give those some time, but there's room up to the 50s on ARK. And again, this might settle back in to some fresh lows. We might have some lows here, lows here, lows here. But if we end up, grinding out a little bit lower, maybe a falling wedge, I think ARK has at least some recovery. I'm not looking for crazy, ridiculous runs to the highs, but I think having a range where we can establish maybe a 40 to 50% area, we're looking to buy some support. So there's some good opportunity there. And Amazon's had a pretty good week. Decent week. Not nearly as good as Microsoft. Google, not terrible, but Google's on the way up. Microsoft's probably been the big leader, trading at 278. So Microsoft is on a rip. So that's that. Let's talk currencies for a moment. Gold and silver really quickly. We did oil, trading at 67 and change, 66.96 and still peeling lower. Let's go gold and silver. Gold still ripping higher. Is our dollar down, or is gold just our hedge? Yeah, dollar's a little bit softer, but we've seen a bit of a disconnect Gold trading at 1948. I wanted to buy gold if we came back into a slightly deeper level here. I was looking to get long at 1750. That level just didn't hit. So there might be a chance to have this high, low, lower, high, lower, lower, equal low. We might have a range here. If we get a chance to maybe scoop up some gold around 1830, that's not too bad. Certainly 1750 to 1676, very bullish on gold at those support lows. But there's also heavy amounts of resistance up here. So if we pull back at all, great. Volatility would certainly take us back down. We somehow drift up to the highs at 2075. A rejection there, gold drops pretty hard. So there's some pretty good big technical levels I'm watching. Silver also having a nice run, not nearly as good as gold, but still pretty good. 21.98. SLV, we have some credit spreads in this one this week. SLV trading at 20.21. We have 18 by 17 and 18 by 17.50 credit spreads for full profit. So pretty happy on that. Bitcoin again at 26. A little rejection off the yearly pivot. And Ethereum, did it make it up to the yearly pivot? Nope. Yearly pivot still has room to run. I meant to look at this earlier. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. This should be dropping. Yep. So this is dropping. I guess if we're looking to time some Ethereum, I mean, right now Bitcoin is stronger, but if Ethereum weakens against Bitcoin a little bit more, let's say that this exchange comes back to between 6 cents and 5.5 cents. I think that would be a pretty good area to look for Ethereum to outperform. So we come down here, see if we can get a bounce from Ethereum actually being better in the near term over Bitcoin. But right now, Bitcoin's doing pretty well. Let's talk FX. Aussie CAD, we're long. We got long at 91.45 this week. It's up 50 pips. New Zealand CAD, we've been long since 83.55. We are up 250 pips. Swiss pairs had a nice reversal for us. Aussie Swiss, we scaled in on this drop last week. I got filled with the lows here at 60, 61.65, and the lows around 60.50. And I'm going to see if I can get this thing to reverse. So if this low holds and we start making our way back up here, I think we have a reversal pattern on Aussie Swiss. But first and foremost, I mean, this trend line needs to break right here. If we don't break that trend line, then it's just drop, retest, and we might settle back in for some type of falling wedge. Right? So we will see. Thanks, Ruthann. Yeah, we'll make a mention of that. Yeah, if you're watching, just take 2 seconds, hit that thumbs up button for me. Smash the algorithm right in the face. All right, Aussie Swiss, we're good. So Aussie Swiss, we got filled on those lows, which is nice. CAD Swiss got filled on the lows. Oil still dropping, so CAD Swiss is struggling a little bit, but I still really like the technicals here. This was an equal low at the COVID bottom. If we end up settling in, this might drift a little bit lower, but I'm still looking for this falling wedge, something explosive, 200 EMA, pivot, pockets, supply zones, all that good stuff. We just need to see confirmation. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room in the CAD Swiss to add to it once we have some confirmation. So stay small trade size wise, stay patient over here, and then once we get some confirmation, there's a lot to trade. What else? We're in Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss, just a little bit of recovery, long wicks to the south, and I said that was very possible at this 97 to 97.50 zone. So that reaction was pretty solid. We're going to see how this one behaves. Next we have the ECB this week. Rates were increased. We're going to see the Swiss National Bank raise rates next week. But again, they raise rates with a dovish tone. If so, let's see what the technicals give us. Let's see what price action gives us on the Swiss. Pound Swiss, come back off the lows. I bought again around 1100. So I'm just leveling in. I'm still looking at this nice. There's a huge bar count here, by the way. That bar count on the daily is 217 bars. That's pretty decent. It certainly could be bigger and take longer. But if we keep consolidating here, I think once we eventually break this, we're going to see a nice little buy zone back to this past level support, which is around 1.2, 1.20, 1.22. All right, so a lot of consolidation on the pound Swiss right now, but eventually I'm still bullish on it. New Zealand Swiss, nice little recovery. I did not get filled with levels I wanted. So we did buy, we got an equal low right here in New Zealand Swiss. I have another pending order down here, and then our 53.50, which is a COVID level. So if it breaks this trend line, this might still be, it's an awkward looking head and shoulders, but it might still be a head and shoulders. And that neckline is right there to break. So if we have it, there's a pocket, there's highs up here, we can get all sorts of symmetry measured, and we'll see how that one treats us. And then dollar Swiss just staying long. Dollar yen pretty choppy, but in it, and I'm long, and I'm still going after the yearly pivot and this big supply zone pocket pivot cluster around 97, 97.50. Henry's asking for pound yen. Pound yen. I mean, it's pretty volatile, man. I like, selling nice and high with good resistance and looking for levels like here to buy low. And in between, staying with your short-term alignments. So 1 hour time frame, maybe a 15-minute time frame. If this is in the sell zone, look for sell zone. If this is in the buy zone, look for buy zones. I'm not really looking long-term on pound yen at all, other than if it comes up to this equal high, I'm looking to sell it. Comes down to this equal low, if it confirms bullish, I'm looking to buy it. So I'm trading support resistance, but in the middle. I mean, look at this. Look at these wicks. This is crazy, right? This is a big indecision week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big indecisive candles with ranges around 575 pips. That is a ton of volatility with really no clear winner on a bullish or bearish move, right? So, I mean, pound yen is still very much stuck right in the middle of a lot of stuff. And I just think you got to be short-term oriented on it right now. Yep. Dollar Sing trading at 34.30. Little pullback is totally fine. I'm still long. Looking at a pullback into this pivot cluster right around 33 to 33.50. I'm still looking for this low to high, pullback, high or low, take it up here. 37.70 or so, 37.60 for a yearly pivot. Find this pivot cluster, big profit zone. So between 37.50 and 39, that's my profit window on the dollar Sing. We were also looking at some of the exotics this week. South African Rand trading at 18.35. Let's go to the weekly on some of these. There's some pretty notable levels. I mean, this is dollar South African Rand. It may not come all the way back to these equal highs, but if it does, I'm going to be looking for some bearishness here. We could have a retest of the highs, drop back down to this level, set up a crown pattern, and then drop. This could be a huge resistance zone. This could be a huge support zone. So, I mean, there might be a really good opportunity for some exotic pairs this year. Just make sure that you understand the margin requirements and the volatility and the per pip value. That's super important when you trade these currencies. They're good setups, but they are expensive. The South African Rand is probably 2 to 3 times more expensive than trading the euro dollar. The dollar peso, we still have a run towards this yearly pivot, but I'm not scooping it up yet. I'm just going to be patient. The only one that I really like, I think the krone was one. Krone and South African Rand I'm going to keep an eye on, but same thing here. Are we running up to this high for resistance, or are we running up to possibly this high? If I had to pick, why wouldn't I want to sell, this crazy high level with confirmation, take it all the way back down here? That'd be a good looking trade. If it's sideways in this area, I'm probably not as interested. So I pick the battles, as closely or wisely, I guess, and just trade the technicals. But that's why dollar Sing was one of my favorites this year. It's not, I mean, it's kind of an exotic. It's not thousands of pips a day like the other ones are, but this is still it's a rare currency, but I like it. So plus I have a little soft spot for Singapore from living there and kind of knowing the exchange rates and stuff and what goes. The 130 to 140 exchange is pretty popular. That goes back to 2014, 2015. So that's it for currencies. Any other particular charts you want to take a look at this morning? We got a few minutes before I have to switch gears to the trading room for equities on demand. We got a lot of expirations. I will get logged into my broker platforms and double check and see if there's any assignments. I know I have to take care of. Let me see. I know it's in here somewhere. I've got to take care of a CTRA and Rivian assignment this morning. And everything else should be okay. I did some rolls yesterday, finished that 4-hour exam, and then spent a couple hours at Starbucks. Had a nice little coffee and used their Wi-Fi to just double check everything. So, that's what's cool about being a trader, I guess. If you're in a bind, there's always Wi-Fi. So anyway, any other questions? If you do me a favor, look, we had about 40, 50 people watching. Can I see about 40 to 50 thumbs up button? Smash, please. Let's get it. And next week, so really quickly, next week I'll make a note. We will be live YouTube next week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, so Monday will be 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for opening bell. Wednesday will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for FOMC. That'll be a bonus session. And Friday for recap, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, opening bell. Okay. So 3 live sessions on YouTube next week. Trading rooms, business as usual. And everybody, I will see you today. Equities on Demand at 10 a.m. Masterflex at 1 p.m. Let's wrap up a good week. Okay. All right, good stuff. Thanks for being with me today. Happy Friday. Equities on Demand students. I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, thanks. Bye, everybody.